Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another match review. Oh, um, this is for starters, this is probably a review I should have came out with yesterday, but I wanted to do a different type of video yesterday, so we're getting it today, in fact. But think about it. Baseball, apple pie, hey, all things synonymous with America. And something else synonymous with America, not only the Great American Bashes and not only Texas bull ropes, but a rich billionaire. I'm of course talking about Great American Bash 2004, the inaugural WWE's version of Great American Bash. That is as Eddie Guerrero defended the WWE Championship against John Bradshaw Layfield, aka JBL. For stars, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time, which this one I had a pretty good time with. Great American Bash 2004, like I said, the inaugural Great American Bash, at least on the WWE side. Before this, Great American Bash was a pay-per-view in WCW, but of course, because WWE acquired WCW, who they then tried to do WCW pay-per-views, who then adopt them as their own. They did it with the Great American Bash here. They did it with Clash of Champions. They did it with Halloween Havoc. That's more NXT, but you get the idea. But yes, yeah, so they did it here, and not a great show. Yeah, not a great show at all. It's a show where literally this match that I'm about to talk about, JBL versus Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero, are considered like the only two good matches on the show. The rest are kind of downers, including the main event where Undertaker straight up kills Paul Bearer by burying him in cement. But maybe he'll talk about that another time. But as for this match, pretty good time with this match. It's of course continuation of a feud that's been going on for a while now between JBL and Eddie Guerrero. And this is after JBL fully went solo. Kind of ditched the whole APA thing and everything. I think this is after Ron Simmons retired, if I'm not mistaken. But ditched the whole APA thing. Became rebranded as a billionaire, with some admittedly kind of racist undertones, but that was the whole crux of the gimmick. He's supposed to be this evil whole billionaire, kind of similar in vein to like Vince McMahon. And if it's one thing Vince loves to do, it's project himself into wrestling characters. He also did it with like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, where the whole point was that the gimmick was supposed to be Vince McMahon if he was a wrestler, and then several years later, Vince McMahon would become like a wrestling actual character. So between Ted DiBiase and JBL here, Vince McMahon loved inserting himself in a way into different characters, but it definitely worked out. JBL was definitely hated it as a character, like absolutely vicious heel, even giving Eddie Guerrero's I believe mother or grandmother a heart attack, which it's wow. But so JBL Eddie Guerrero feuding up to this point. And this stems from a match they had at Judgment Day previously for the WWE Championship, but now this is the rematch here. Is the Texas Bull Rope match here. So the object of the match, you gotta touch all four corners. The first person to touch all four corners wins. But the gimmick is both men are tied in the bull rope, which definitely plays into the match. So I guess without further ado, on that note, let's get right into it. So for those who have seen these reviews before, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the match. So starting with what I liked, I feel like both guys really worked well together. And the story was told. The fact that both men actually trying to stop each other from touching all four corners, and is mainly, and this is the other story, is the size disadvantage. And with JBL being much bigger than Eddie Guerrero. Like JBL, someone I kind of grew up watching, and when I got into wrestling, I always hated him. But man, you forget you almost forget how big he is. It's like he's definitely big, and they played into that with JBL and his size. Eddie Guerrero having to like constantly drag him around, and then on the flip side, when JBL trying to touch the corners, Eddie he trying to use all his strength to really hold on for dear life. Eddie Guerrero having to use his speed and agility, and of course the natural Eddie Guerrero craftiness in order to try to get around the much bigger Texan, and which is exactly what he tried to do. That is, and both men really going after each other, including one of the stiffest chair shots I've ever heard with Eddie Guerrero, almost decapitating JBL with the chair. Man, it was a hard. This was a hard chair shot. Like chair shots to the head are banned nowadays in WWE, and partially that is due to stuff what happened with like Chris Benoit and stuff, and the issues of concussions, to the point where if someone is hit in the head with a chair, then they're fined, I think, like $500, which that is a bit on the higher end of fine. Means at least for someone like me. For wrestlers, maybe not as much, perhaps. Absolutely, $500 is still well, that still kind of sucks to have to lose $500 for that. But like, especially for someone like me, $500 is kind of a lot. And yeah, so yeah, chair shots is totally outlawed. But they do manage to sneak one or two in there. Or such as when Kyle O'Reilly would accidentally knock the chair into himself during like war games and stuff. But yeah, that chair shot, man, that was a rough chair shot. And there's stuff like JBL powerbombing launching Eddie into the table, and then JBL powerbombing Eddie onto the table. Well, and then here's the ending with Eddie Guerrero hitting all four corners. And what they did is whenever Eddie would hit a corner, then JBL would hit the same corner, and then they did that for a bit. And then on the fourth corner, Eddie dove over JBL to touch that final corner in order to win. Or so you thought, because then Kurt Angle came out, showed the footage, and showed Eddie Guerrero, and showed that JBL actually touched the corner first. And actually, if you look at the footage, Eddie Guerrero didn't even touch the corner at all. Like he actually hit JBL's back, but I imagine the back of his hand probably he kind of hit the corner a little bit. But so then Kurt Angle awards, so I should probably give some context. Kurt Angle is in a wheelchair at this point. He's injured and everything. And so he's the general manager of SmackDown at the time, and being wheeled around by Luther Reigns. And if you don't remember who Luther Reigns is, exactly. But yeah. So Kurt Angle, who's the general manager at the time, and then shows the footage and awards the match to JBL. And Kurt Angle, who still doesn't like Eddie Guerrero, trying to play it off like, oh, I'm being fair, trying to do the right thing, which admittedly, yeah, okay, fair enough. Admittedly, yeah, but at the same time, clearly there to screw over Eddie Guerrero. Oh, and man, that had his cold. Oh, like, that is a deliciously cruel ending. Like normally matches like that where it's something where that happens where it's like I don't know if that technically qualifies as like a dusty finish where or like shenanigans like that happen, like somebody foot under the rope, hope but the referee counts it anyway, or something along those lines. This ending pretty much a similar ending to like that, at least in that nature. Obviously not the exact same because of the rule set of the match and everything, but pretty much a similar type of ending to that. Normally, when that happens, they kind of just let it go, and the person wins anyway. The referee's decision is final. Well, but then moments like this, like Kurt Angle coming out to reverse it, it's deliciously cool. Like they give Eddie the celebration, they play the music and everything, and then Kurt reverses it, and Eddie sells it it excellently, where he's holding on to the championship, looking so distraught and disheveled, as like the crowd, how it is so sad and everything, and then JBL is granted the championship. Now, I can't necessarily comment on JBL's time as WWE champion. It's something that's got it's something that's a bit polarizing of a reign. People either really like it or they really hate it. And the JBL character as well. Oh, the fact that he went from like mostly a tag team guy to now getting this main event push and WWE Championship, almost out of nowhere, or like that's been a subject of talk for years now. But I'm not gonna speak on it too much because I sadly wasn't really watching wrestling at the time. I was only about 3 years old at the time. But also because we're looking at the win itself, so we can't factor the actual reign into the win itself. But JBL winning here, and some people even kind of scrutinize like how he won it, the fact that he won it pretty much off like a technicality. But again, we're not gonna really delve too much into that and focus too much on that. But yeah, so JBL wins the championship, and Eddie Guerrero is so distraught, upset, and everything. And Kurt Angle, somewhat justified, still manages to look like the bad guy, which is a very smart way how they pulled that off, where they're essentially able to have their cake and eat it too. And that, I think, is something interesting about not just heels, but villains in a lot of media, where they're kind of justified. Like, when you see the footage, you can kind of see JBL winning, but the way it's done is you definitely feel for Eddie, but yeah, so I was able to accomplish that. So in those aspects, it's really, really good. And not the first time they've done an ending like that, where the one guy you think touched the corner, but in actuality the other guy touched the corner, or in a similar kind of like I think back then it was called a Four Corners match in WCW, but I forget the exact participants of that match. If anyone knows the exact participants of that match, please let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm gonna see if I can look it up and try to figure out who it was, who they pulled that ending off with, because they've definitely done it before. The whole you think this guy won, but no, it's actually this guy. Like just kind of giving the audience the bone, giving the fans the bone, and ripping it away from them at the same time. It's definitely cruel, but yeah, so pretty solid match in those regards. If I did have to find something not to like about the match, which maybe, and I think this probably where some people have some disconnect with it, how JBL kind of won off the technicality. If it was a bit more decisive, then perhaps people may have latched onto it, but I feel like that's kind of just me. Plus, it kind of ties into the story of the whole Eddie Guerrero Kurt Angle rivalry, which would continue from this point. They were feuding before this. Eddie Guerrero beat Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Either that, or I think just defended it and defeated Kurt Angle in a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania 20 that year. But yeah, so continuing that rivalry, but at the same time, I imagine people wanted a bit more of a decisive win for JBL there. But nevertheless, I think that's going to do it for this match. Like I said, one of the only two good matches on the card. Why this one didn't main event, and I'm not sure. Like, it's for the WWE Championship. I guess they wanted Paul Bearer getting buried and murdered in cement to main event the show. Sure, WWE, why not? But yeah, so they would go on to have some more Great American Bashes after this, and go on to have the Bash, yay. I forget, I think it was in 2009, and when the Bash happened, I remember at the time when it went from the Great American Bash to just the Bash being like the lamest thing ever. I'm like, where's the Great American Bash? Why is it just the Bash? Actually, like it's called like the Bash, like a nickname, but yeah. So it went from the Great American Bash to just the Bash. Not Great American, just the Bash. Sure, why not? Now they've revived it. It's kind of like a special event type of thing in NXT. In fact, they have one coming up. And Mustafa Ali is battling, or Mustafa Ali is battling Wesley for the North American Championship. That should be a really interesting and awesome match. Can't wait to see that one. But nevertheless, yeah. So, the Great American Bash lingered for a bit, now revived in NXT, and so there's that. But nevertheless, that's gonna do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, or like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Turn on post notifications. Every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match and my review of the match. Did you dislike the match? Did you dislike my review of the match? Let me know what you thought about the JBL character and him holding the WWE Championship. And also something of note, he's still referred to as Bradshaw here in this match, and I think this is like fresh after the whole transition from Bradshaw to JBL, but he's still referred to as just Bradshaw, which is something of interest, I guess. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.